Oh man. So you have just committed a crime. Or worse, you didn't do anything at all but had the guts to raise your voice against a corrupt noble.
Hey, everybody look, that guy is stealing.
Or heavens forbid, the king. Then congratulations. You have just unlocked your free trial of medieval torture. No subscriptions required. But trust me, once they are done with you, you won't make it to the renewal date. In today's video, we are diving into the most bizarre medieval torture devices ever invented. The kind that will make you think twice before committing a crime, or even opening your mouth. But before that, please like and subscribe, as it takes a lot of time to make each frame by hand. We are starting small. The thumb screw was a metal device with spikes and a movable jaw. It was first used in the 14th century in Scotland and Germany. It was made to crush thumb, finger, and toes. The way it worked was they would put the fingers or toes of the prisoner between these gaps, and then they would rotate this knob, which caused the upper plate to move up and down, thus ultimately piercing the fingers of the person. Imagine slamming your fingers in a car door, except a medieval dude is crushing your fingers for fun. It was a perfect interrogation tool, painful enough to make you spill the secrets, but not deadly. Next up is a Pier of Anguish. It was more of a medieval clickbait than a torture device. There is no proof that it was actually used in the Middle Ages. The first mentions although pop up in the 1600s in France and Germany, but by then real torture devices like the rack and thumbscrew were already doing the job. Anyways, the way it worked was that it had a screw on the narrow end, and when the screw was rotated, the metal plates of the device would open like a flower. Historians say that first it was shoved in the mouth of the liars, and then the screw was rotated, which would cause the metal plates to open like a flower, thus tearing the mouth of the person. It was also used for other openings for witches and criminals as well. Again, there is no actual evidence that it was ever used. So yeah, the Pier of Anguish was probably more of a showpiece than an actual punishment. Ever had a bad day where you felt crushed by the responsibilities? Well, some people in history took that feeling to a whole new level. Welcome to the dark and heavy world of death by pressing, a medieval punishment that really put the pressure on criminals. So, where did this punishment started? It was first used in the 13th century England during the reign of King Henry III. The idea was simple and absolutely horrifying. If someone refused to plead guilty in court, they were laid on the ground and a wooden board was placed on the top. And then, one by one, stones or weights were piled up until the person either spoke up or, well, just flattened out. The weight of these stones would cause the rib cage of the person to crack and break. The broken pieces of the rib cage would then pierce the lungs, making it impossible for the person to breathe. Mercy was rare in medieval Europe, and the wheel was a proof of that. It wasn't just a tool of torture, it was a public spectacle of pain. It was mainly used in Germany and France as a public execution method for serious crimes like murder, robbery, or treason. The way it worked was the arms and the legs of the person were tied to the wheel. Then, the executioner used a heavy iron bar to smash their bones one by one. First the legs, then the arms, and then the ribs. After that, the broken body was wrapped around the wheel and lifted up high for everyone to see. Crows and insects would come, and the victim could stay alive for hours, even days. It wasn't just a punishment, it was a warning. Anyone who broke the law or angered the king could end up on the wheel. Next up is the Judas Cradle. It was one of the most cruel torture devices ever created. Its design was simple yet horrifying. It was a wooden or a metal pyramid with a sharp point on the top. The victim was tied with ropes and a belt, and was slowly lowered onto the tip. The sharp end would cause terrible pain, but it was made to keep the person alive for as long as possible. The goal was not to kill fast, it was to make the person suffer and force them to confess. To make the torture even more brutal, weights were often tied to the victim's hand and feet, increasing the pressure and causing extreme physical pain. The Judas cradle was also used to humiliate and intimidate, often used to extract confessions or as a public punishment. Next up is the brazen bull. It is still one of the most cruel torture devices ever created. It was invented in the 6th century BCE in the Greek colony of Sicily by a bronze worker named Perilos for King Phalaris, who was a very cruel king. The brazen bull was basically a bull made up of bronze. It was hollow inside and had a small door on the side. It also had a pipe which was connected to the nose of the bull. The way it worked was absolutely horrifying. A person would be locked inside the bull and fire would be lit under it. As the metal got hot, it started to melt the skin of the person locked inside the bull. The person inside would scream, and the sound would come out through the pipe in the bull's nose, making it sound like a roaring animal. Now here's the fun part. According to historians, Perilos bragged about how realistic the screams would sound, claiming it would make the execution more entertaining for the king. Let's just say the king didn't like his attitude and decided to test the invention on Perilos himself. Some stories say that he let Perilos out before he died, only to throw him off a cliff afterwards. Others say that he was burned alive completely. And that was the end of part 1 of most terrifying medieval torture devices ever used. If you found this video interesting, it would really mean a lot if you guys leave a like and subscribe. And if you guys want to see the part 2 of this video where we will cover 5 more torture devices from the medieval era, then kindly let me know in the comment section. Thanks for watching the video. Take care.